Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new edition of What Should We Watch with K and E. I'm Kay.
I'm E.
And we want to thank you all for tuning into last week's episode. We got a great response.
Yeah.
When we sat down and watched Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm. And not Avengers Infinity Wars.
Hey. I try. So if you are new to the program, how this works is we sit down, we watch a movie, and when we are done watching the movie, we talk about some topics that we noticed throughout it, make some comments, and then we play some games, do some segments such as, what are our segments?
I hate it when they fight.
Yeah, and...
Were you paying attention?
Yeah, that's them.
Clearly, Were You Paying Attention now has some irony to it because you invented the podcast, but...
Mm-hmm. So,
you also forgot to mention that we take turns picking movies.
Yeah, that's the big kicker
That's
of us.
the big kicker. Which will probably then be used in our legal documents when we file for divorce. You made me watch this movie!
This was the movie. This was the time.
This podcast is where it all fell apart. I'm going to feel really bad if it does.
I know. I can't wait to timestamp our, like, when our love died.
Our demise.
So, for all of you, too, who did help us out throughout the week, fill out some of our social media. We asked a couple questions. For this podcast, feel free to hop over to our Twitter and Instagram account here. Make sure to check out after this podcast our questions and join the fun.
Give us feedback. Give us any movie suggestions. See where you related or if you agreed with our big debates, which we'll get to the winner of the debate this week. And let us know how you did with our quizzes. I have some really tough questions for Kay this week.
Oh, no. All right, so for this week, it is E's turn to pick the movie, so we're about to sit down and watch it. What are we watching this week, E?
Well, it's probably my favorite movie. Though I think it's really hard to pick one favorite movie, but top 5. If you could go to a desert island with a DVD player.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dating myself. A DVD player? Remember the old ones that flipped?
Old.
I don't know. I guess a streaming, whatever. If I had to only watch 5 movies, this would be in one of them. And to prove that fact, when I finally got it on DVD, I got it on a Friday. And I can't remember why. No, I lied. I got it on VHS.
Yeah. Oh, now you're really dating
Yes. Oh, back in the day.
Oh, dear.
You had to please be kind and rewind.
Question for you. What does VHS stand for?
Video home system? Do you know what VHS
I
is?
was going to say vehicular manslaughter or something.
Anywho, so when I got it on VHS, which I'm pretty sure has nothing to do with vehicular manslaughter, I remember distinctly I got it on a Friday and I watched it. And then somebody came home, I don't remember who it was, but I convinced them to watch it with me on Friday, and then I got somebody else to watch it with me on Saturday, and then I watched it again on Sunday. So what, if you're doing the math at home, that was like 4 times in 36 hours? So I don't know how long the movie was, but I'm pretty sure I devoted 6 hours to that movie. So we are watching the coming of age love story mixed with classism and confusing music based on different time periods. Dirty Dancing.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to just jump right into it. Feel free to check out the movie now. You can pause the podcast and join us in just a little bit.
And if you haven't seen Dirty Dancing, pause. Hit pause now and figure out how to watch it. Now. All right, so we wrapped up our 890th viewing for me. If you aren't at my level, get on it. But we just finished watching Dirty Dancing. Not my first time at this rodeo. It's not Kay's either because, you know, we've been together forever and a day, and I forced him to watch this early on in a relationship. It was a deal breaker.
Yeah, it was.
Like, it was a test.
It was one of the first Herculean trials I had to go through, and let me tell you, the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. Oof.
I think they were my tears because you made fun of him. We'll get to the part where you made fun of it. But But now, since we're a little bit more advanced, we actually watched it on DVD. But before we dive into the DVD portion of it, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say. It was my pick. So I'm going to let Kay give me his first impression of the movie.
Okay. So if you haven't seen it before, Dirty Dancing, it's a movie about the heir to the White Castle dynasty.
No.
Johnny Castle, right?
No.
And he falls in love with a baby.
Not quite, but close. But when we watched the DVD, so open it up, put it in, and it said there was an option for a Jennifer Grey introduction. And we're like, what? I've never seen it. We gotta watch this. Listen, people, you need to hunt down the DVD copy that offers this intro because it's worth the price of admission alone. Ridiculous. It looked like somebody harassed Jennifer Grey until she was worn down and gave in. Went to, I'm assuming, her house.
Yeah, they definitely...
It's at her house, and they're, like, up against her house, like she's sitting outside.
Mm-hmm.
And she just looks, she goes, "Hi, I'm Jennifer Grey, and you're about to watch Dirty Dancing." That was it. That was it! I don't even think it was 30 seconds.
We paid an extra $10 for that.
We did?
Yeah.
I think the whole DVD was $5.
Then when the movie started, you were telling me, well, you were making just a lot of happy noises at the beginning. And I agree with you. The opening credits of this movie are bomb bad.
Bomb bad?
Yeah.
Hashtag making words up.
Nope, Gunkin. Look it up.
I don't want to. But they have to be the best opening credits. Just, it sets the tone, and like those first beats drop, and it's just, I don't know how else to say it. And I will say, I did see Dirty Dancing on Broadway, the musical version of it. And they do...
I forget that you did that.
They do the overture. They do the opening credits.
They do?
I got chills.
So the Broadway production, do they sing, like, original songs, or do they do
They
the
have,
music?
like, the band. They sing the songs. There's no original songs. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because the overall arching theme of Dirty Dancing is... It's corny. It's cheesy. It's over the top. So thankfully they didn't give Johnny an exposition song. I guess I would go to Exposition Billy, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But the point is, even in the musical, they still did the opening credits. They had the song. They had the slow motion big pictures of them dancing. So good. I would watch that 5 times in a row. Now, since it's my 9,489th viewing of this movie, for the first time, not that I wasn't aware of it, but the scene opens with the Houseman family going to Kellerman's to go on their vacation, and they're all in the car, and Baby is narrating, and she's setting up the time period, the plot. You know, it was the summer. She wanted to join the Peace Corps. She was so excited. She was naive. She never thought anybody would be as great as her dad. And it got me thinking. And if anybody out there thought this too, let me know. There's a conspiracy theory out there. You know, Game of Thrones is over, so we have to come up with alternate endings and conspiracy theories about something. So why not dive into the 80s? But it's a voiceover in the beginning. She's telling the audience the story. And then the voiceover never comes back. So my question is, who is she talking to?
Well, we had a theory when we were watching it that she's sitting in a nursing home retelling the story to the nursing assistant who's, like, helping her with her bath.
I know, giving her a sponge bath. She's a moo-moo.
She's talking to her about her time, her summer with Johnny Castle. It's kind of one of those Titanic scenes where she's telling the whole story and they're just all sitting there leaning on, like, whatever desk they're on.
And they get to the sex part. You're like, ooh, grandma. But that was my other thing. What if she's telling, like, a grandchild? But is she telling a grandchild about the one that got away?
Yeah.
And just hoping that her new husband that isn't Johnny doesn't have his hearing aids in? Is she bitter? Is she reminiscing about the love of her life? Maybe they went off and had a Dirty Dancing life, or I don't know. It was just interesting. Let us know what you think. Who is she talking to?
Yeah.
So they arrive at Kellerman's, which in the show is set up in New York, but it's interesting because it's actually in Virginia, or the resort itself is in Virginia. So Kellerman's, I'm using air quotes, but you can't see me because it's a podcast. Thank you. That was the sound effects for the air quote. We're going to make that a thing now. Ready? Uh-huh. It's actually in Virginia, but then most of the outdoor scenes involving the lake and everything. You've been notified.
That was our dog.
Yeah. She's powering up. Are in North Carolina. But they get to Kellerman's, and it's apparent that, you know, the Kellerman himself is really excited to have the Housemans. You know, they make a point to say, like, you know, Dr. Houseman, her dad's a doctor. And they get there, and it's very wholesome entertainment. Mm-hmm. And they immediately, one of the first things she does is go to a dance lesson in the gazebo. It is worth just going back and watching the scene because the extras are living their best life. There's a dude in like socks and sandals that is just getting it, just shaking his booty. But also, since this is my 12,486th viewing of this movie, there's a guy in a bathrobe, which I never noticed before.
I didn't even notice this. You had to pause it.
I had to we went back, pause. I said, look at the dude in the bathrobe who was also living his best life. Like, he knows how to vacation. He's like, I ain't putting on pants. I'm going to wear me a fluffy robe. I'm going to probably already had like some sidecars because it's in the 60s. And I'm going to dance the merengue in my robe.
Yeah, he's probably like some CFO of a major company and he was like, I'm on vacation.
Or he's that creepy person that you will eventually have to pull aside and tell them they have to wear underwear.
Maybe. So we wanted to talk about what this movie was truly about because, yeah, 80s love story for sure. But
of course.
I mean, the heavy theme throughout this was shown in the scene that we're going to be talking about where Kellerman's talking to all the staff and explains to them what their role is.
Well, specifically, he's talking to the waiters who
Yeah.
are all men.
So it's really a movie about classism in a way.
Yeah.
So
if you go write your PhD thesis about analyzing the classism undertones of Dirty Dancing, just like hashtag what should we watch with Kanye and let us know.
Let us be a reference for you.
And when you fail your dissertation, sorry.
We're credible. I like to think we're credible. So Kellerman says to the wait staff, you guys need to do this and that. You need to get the girls all excited, even the dogs.
Yeah, like take him out, show him a good time. Even the dogs. Ugh.
What a horrible.
Horrible, horrible. So slimy, so sleazy.
Mm-hmm. And then Johnny and his crew come in, who are the dancers. And everybody's like, ew.
Well, and of course the wait staff is in their wait uniforms and they're these crisp white jackets. And then the dance people walk in. The entertainment staff is what they called it. Oh, the entertainment people walk in. With like such a dirty word, entertainment people. But they walk in.
I mean, in their defense, Johnny Castle does walk in like a moron wearing sunglasses at night.
It wasn't quite night. Give him some. He's cool.
He's cool.
But they're wearing all black, so it's automatically kind of sharking and jetsing it up in here.
Hey, boy, crazy boy. Stay cool, boy.
So now we have like 2 musical references in one podcast. It might be a new record.
You're welcome.
But definitely, there's a lot of undertones that even progress through the movie, which I'm sure we'll get to when we talk more about the dynamics amongst the characters. But the overarching issue is classism, I really feel like. Even the wait staff are students who are young men who are going to pursue academia at the higher level and be doctors and lawyers. So that's acceptable, but the dancers, the entertainment staff, this is their career. So it was frowned upon.
Yeah, and that's really the whole point of the movie. Their love and the big conflict throughout the movie is based on issues of classism.
Kind of Romeo and Juliet, just not warring families, warring social statuses.
Yeah.
Even Kellerman's grandson, who in the movie is trying to woo Baby, makes a point to say, you know, I am Kellerman's grandson. I can get whatever I want. He even I think he says something along the lines of like, I'm rich. I can do whatever I want. I even stole the lifeguard's girlfriend when I told her what my last name was. Come on. But Baby don't fall for that.
Can't fool
Quantity
baby.
or quality. She want quality.
Oh, can I talk about my favorite line in the movie?
Well,
Speaking
that
of baby?
leads to it because she ditches Kellerman and she sees Billy, who's a character. It's actually Johnny's cousin who works there.
Who we call...
Exposition Billy, which you'll find out why. But he's carrying, first of all, somebody find me watermelons that exist in the universe that are shaped this way. Maybe the props department was just
See,
like...
that's the problem with GMOs nowadays. Is
I know.
You can't get monster watermelons
They're
anymore.
obscene looking.
That's why GMOs were invented, because we had to clone the smaller, tame watermelons, because watermelons were becoming so monstrous and grotesque that we were worried they were going to become sentient. So we had to cut them off.
But honestly, I feel like that was the props department gave like 3 normal-sized watermelons, which, let's be honest, carrying 3 normal-sized watermelons for anybody, and Exposition Billy is not that big, would have been difficult. The director's like, nah, need to be bigger. So they go back, and they come up with these oblong hot dog-shaped watermelons.
The director was Vince McMahon, by the way.
Good watermelons here.
Watermelons, they're going to love it. It's going to be great.
She helps Billy with the watermelon, and they like go up the hill, and even the entertainment staff is up on a hill in the dark away, and you can hear the pulsating music.
I'm just getting excited of you leading up to this because of what's coming.
And Billy just uses his butt and throws these doors open, and Baby's face is widened, and it's just a mass of gyrating, sweaty, undulating, grinding, thrusting, but they're dirty. They are, air quotes, dirty dancing. Do the sound.
Whoop, whoop.
At that point, which the director, apparently they had to cut. Now, this is in the 80s when the movie came out. Apparently there is on the cutting room floor so many more, I don't know, hours, minutes of these dance scenes that they made them cut down because they said they were too risque.
Ooh, jeez.
I know. Which then leads to, we're not getting to your line yet, we're setting it up.
You thought I was sweating because of all the descriptions you were giving on the dancing? No, I'm sweating because my favorite line is coming up.
So then, of course, Johnny and Penny, his dance partner, whom we had already seen just tearing it up on the dance floor for, like, the upper class.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Love it. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite dance numbers. I know the iconic dance number at the end is so amazing and everybody praises it, and it is a good dance number, but Penny and Johnny's dance number in the, like, when you first see them dance together is just, because Jennifer Grey was not a trained dancer, but Patrick Swayze was. His mom was a choreographer.
Was it both of his parents were?
They were both entertainment.
They were both involved.
And I want to say the actress that played Penny also had a dance background, but they just killed it.
She was in Flashdance.
Yeah.
Before or after that.
Which I guess you couldn't have Baby be a trained dancer. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
You might have, but that's best dance ever.
So
they all show up to the party, which, of course, they jump into the gyrating, and we both agreed, we both looked at each other at this point, we're like, we wish one time, all I want is that one time we walk into a party and we are greeted like Penny and Johnny.
Yeah, we were saying how, I don't think we were even greeted this way at our wedding. I mean, y'all did a good job, but you didn't go, hey!
I know. Well, I think at that point, like, we did the whole Catholic Mass, and they were hungry, and they were dead. Let's be honest.
Yeah, our pregame wasn't going hard.
When you're at a wedding and the bride and groom come in, all you're thinking is, I get to eat soon! Yay!
Mazel tov, let's eat! Prime rib!
We did not have prime rib. We did!
Did we?
I think so.
Oh, we so fancy.
I didn't eat it. But so then Johnny sees Baby, who is an outsider, and approaches her and goes to Billy. What is she doing here? And your favorite line, drum roll, please.
The first thing she says to the love of her life.
She doesn't know that yet. She's infatuated with him.
Right, she's infatuated with him. And the first thing she says to him is, with the most starstruck eyes ever, is, I carried the watermelon.
You made her sound like she was a creepy person. She did not say it like that.
Okay, let me try it again. I carried the watermelon. Is that better?
No, I'm a little afraid. She was taken. We've all said this.
We've all said I carried the watermelon.
If
at
you
one point
carried
in
a
our
watermelon,
lives.
you did. But let's back this choo-choo train up, mister. I put my foot in my mouth so much I can open a shoe store.
True.
She was out of her element, which was clear when Johnny took her to try to teach her to go dancing. And it was so funny. I'm surprised he didn't bruise his nether regions because she was just off rhythm the whole time. But you could tell she got bit by the dirty dancing bug.
So when you're talking about the dancing, that leads us into the plot. There is a medical situation where Penny finds out she got pregnant by Robbie the Creep,
Robbie the Creep. Penny got knocked up by Robbie the Creep.
which is the issue of classism, is she doesn't know what she's going to do about having a baby. She doesn't know she can, so she looks to end the pregnancy. But the issue is one way or another, she can't stop working.
Well, it's also the 60s, so...
And the stigma assigned with it.
very
So
fitting.
she is about to lose one of her gigs with Johnny. And that's when Baby steps in and is like, I can fill in.
Well, no, she asked if anybody else could fill in, and they snapped at her, like, everybody
Oh.
around here works.
That's right, because Penny looked at her and was just like, what are you going to do? You're going to do it yourself? That's when,
Go back to your playpen, baby.
yeah, that's when, what's his name? Exposition Billy.
He steps in. He explains everything. But
right,
what
and he's
Kay
like,
said,
it's not a bad idea. I think we could make a movie out of it.
I mean, I think it'll work. So that's how Baby ends up taking Penny's role. Because, well, and on top of it, Penny needs $250 to have the procedure done to terminate the pregnancy. And Baby goes, this is important, Baby goes and asks her father for the money.
Yeah.
And does not tell him what it's for.
Yeah.
That's important. It will come back.
It will come back. Thus starts Baby's, what would you
Dance
call
lessons.
it? Montage?
One of the best dance montages ever. A lot of bests in here.
What song are they playing? Oh, that's when they're playing Wipeout. And she's like dancing on the bridge. That is another favorite scene of mine, when she's dancing on the bridge and she does that like freak out and she's just like, ah!
It's great. When they keep showing her going up and down the stairs, and I love it because as she goes up and down the stairs and they show her evolving into, getting used to it. She's wearing less and less clothing. She's putting lipstick on before she goes dances. 1, 2, 3, doo-dum, doo-dum. When he puts his hand on her.
Oh yeah, he's doing that little, he's like just doing 2 fingers too. It's like really,
Yeah, what would
oh,
you do?
he's so cool.
It's so Swayze, 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Just pounding the chest.
Oh, it's getting my heart pounding here.
So it's the whole montage. It's like 2 solid songs straight through.
And Baby's wearing your shoes. your
My
favorite
shoes. People call them Keds, but they're the little white, like very thin-soled sneakers. I call them dirty dancing shoes. So like when I say, oh, I'm going to wear my dirty dancing shoes, that's what I mean.
When we get to the end of that montage section here, that's when we come to some of the more famous scenes of Dirty Dancing, where they go out to the lake and...
Which apparently was freezing because they got delayed. So they were doing this in September it was late. It was past August when they were doing the lake scene. And there's so many interviews where both the actors are quoted in saying it was so freezing. That was a fun fact that I looked up. In general, some of the outdoor scenes that they were shooting in, you know why there's no close-ups when they're outside? Not even in the water, but like outside in general. Because it was so cold there, the actors' lips were turning blue and they were chattering because it's supposed to be the dead of summer. It's supposed to be at the start of summer. But in the lake scene, they were freezing. And Jennifer Grey, I believe, in an interview said that she turned and looked at the crew, all in like coats, like winter coats. And they're in the lake. They were spraying leaves because they were starting to turn.
Wait, how did they do that? There were so many trees in the background.
I don't know. And this is before CGI, so it's not like they could CGI green trees.
True, yeah. And those were the scenes that were in North Carolina, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then poor Patrick Swayze fell off the log. So he insisted, if you look at the
Patrick.
log scene, that is him, but then they had a stunt double for Jennifer Grey. And Patrick Swayze, I guess, fell off the log.
Poor guy. What happened to him? Did he get hurt?
I think he broke his ankle.
Aw.
Which is not good for a dance movie, but you know.
He probably carried on for his art.
Mm-hmm. And then comes the second best dance montage, Hungry Eyes. Johnny and Penny and Baby are all in the studio, and the song Hungry Eyes comes on, and they're just in like the super high-waisted, which is weird, 80s leotards now that I'm thinking about it, but it was set in the 60s, so that's odd, but nonetheless, they're, so picture, if you will, they're in this white studio.
Okay.
Patrick Swayze, I believe, is topless.
Nice.
Penny's in like a black leotard and tights.
Okay, not as nice, but...
And then Baby's also in dark? Can't remember, but she's in the same thing. And they're just these glorious dancing bodies glistening with sweat. And it's Johnny and it's Baby. And then Penny is behind Baby to help her with their frame, her carriage of her arms.
So would you say Baby is like the cream in this Oreo?
Yes.
Like the cream of the crop?
Yes. Not the cream of the crop.
Oh.
And it's amazing because she's looking at her feet dancing. Johnny is looking at Penny, who's behind Baby, and then Baby looks up with these doe eyes, and she's just looking at Johnny like, I did it! I'm falling in love with you! Ha! And Penny and Johnny are both looking at each other with some apprehension, and I think that's when Penny was like, don't you be falling for her! She might have sensed the chemistry. Oh, such a good scene!
Speaking of their chemistry, another fact that we found out reading about this, I think you knew about this beforehand, but when I was reading a little bit into the movie, was both Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. They previously worked in Red Dawn together, and on the set of Red Dawn, they were very much known to not get along with each other, and they were casted in this role. Casted?
Mm-hmm.
They were put in these roles in Dirty Dancing, knowing that they didn't have the best chemistry. So I think that's interesting that they...
Well, chemistry... They had chemistry on screen.
Yeah, I guess they had chemistry. It's that just their personalities didn't mesh off screen.
Which in the beginning, I guess, from stories I've heard, they weren't off to a bad start. And then as filming... I mean, it sounded like it was a very hard shoot between the weather and the demands, and it's physically exhausting because you have to have all those rehearsals for the dance numbers. And Patrick Swayze was... trained, so he was frustrated with her. Very much like Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah, in Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Kind of that dynamic existed. However, as they were progressing through it, that's when the tensions really started to mount. They showed them the screen test of them dancing together to be like, remember, you guys could do this. Go back to it.
Remember when you two got along?
But that, the famous scene of Patrick Swayze brings Jennifer Grey's,
Yeah, did you notice, like, when they do that, like, little pet thing?
Down her arm?
Yeah. Do you feel like they did it? I never remember them doing it that many times over and over again.
Oh, they do it, at least 10 times over and over again.
It was the end of the song, too, so it just kept going, hungry eyes, hungry... And there was one more that happened that I didn't remember them going for it.
Well, and that's the point. That scene took that many times because she was laughing and he was getting mad. So that's unscripted.
Yeah, his face at one point is just a total look of, I am so over this.
Which also, another scene that I don't know if you knew was unscripted was How Do You Call Your Lover Boy?
Really?
That scene was unscripted. They, so it's later in the movie, but this is when Johnny and Baby have cemented their relationship, which we'll get to. And it's a very famous scene where they're in the studio and they're on the floor and it's, Sylvia, how do you call your lover boy? And they're lip syncing to the song. And apparently, so that's where it's interesting, where they were bickering, but then they did kind of ease into it. The two of them were goofing off when they weren't filming. And the producers and the director saw it and said, we got to put that in the movie.
Yeah, good
So that
call.
wasn't scripted, yeah.
All right, before we continue with the Peanut Gallery, we are going to take a quick break, so we'll be right back.
Thoughtful, engaging, innovative, productive, and kind, aspects all girls possess and have the ability to cultivate through the Joy Journal. The Joy Journal is designed for girls to discover their unique self through engaging and guided activities. Created by one of our favorite mother-daughter duos, this journal is filled with fun activities such as finding the music that matches your personality and making a vibrant vision board to help visualize your goals. Through the Joy Journal, that special person in your life will discover self-acceptance and self-love using this creative journal through kid-friendly illustrations and innovative activities. Right now, the creators of the Joy Journal are running a special promotion for our listeners. As our listeners, if you purchase one journal, they will donate a second journal to a program or school that serves young girls, allowing young girls and women the opportunity to use this amazing book as a tool for self-reflection and help them gain confidence and kindness as they live and grow. So pick one up for yourself or for that someone in your life that can use this journal to awaken the rock star within themselves.
Even I, a grown man, well, kinda, find that this journal has helped me improve my confidence in myself and my skills. To grab a copy and in turn donate one to a girl in need, head over to the website empowerminds.mykajabi, that is mykajabi.com, and type into their code section WSWW to get a donated copy sent to that girl that would need it so much. Thank you!
So we get through all these rehearsal montages, and then of course the big night comes up, and they go to the Sheldrake to perform. And they do well, but Baby Chicken's out.
You know what? I just focused really hard on you right there because I feel like Sheldrake is going to be one of the answers to the questions you're going to answer me. Sheldrake.
Sheldrake?
Yeah. That's not it?
You said Sheldrake.
Sheldrake. Thank you.
Could be saying it now. I'm confused.
I'm going to store that in my memory banks.
So, of course, everything goes well on their end, but what does not go well is Penny's procedure that she had done.
And when Baby and Johnny show up, that's when Exposition Billy comes in, just updates them.
That the doctor had a dirty knife in a folding table, and he could hear her screaming, and he tried to get in the door. He really tried.
Did he try
I
that
don't think
hard?
so, because these are like when you would go to sleepaway camp in 5th grade,
right?
With the door that you're pretty much, you can be in there, but all the bugs can also go freely, and it's like the eye hook latch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Billy, I know you're not a big guy, but did you?
I tried.
Did you? Billy, you could have solved a lot of problems. So to remedy it, of course, it's just so happens that Baby's dad is a doctor, so she rushes down the hill, and the poor mother is just clueless because she don't wake up, and Dr. Houseman comes and sees Penny and goes to treat her, but he made a point because he knew she had an abortion. He knew that happened, and he asks who is responsible for this girl. And Johnny said, me, which ultimately you knew he was asking who knocked this broad up, which it was not Johnny.
Yeah, which was a good move on his behalf to help cover. And he's like Mr. Houseman, he does an excellent job. He just really wants to take care of Penny. And
he's judging.
He is judging.
Judging McJuggerson over there. 100%. Well, and then of course he scolds Baby, saying, that's what my money bought. How can you be with those people? I expected more of you, and take that stuff off your face, because she still has her stage makeup on. Well, does Baby do that? No.
Oh, she takes it off, all right. On Johnny's booty.
So, of course, the infinite love scene, which people have said her line of, and most of all, I'm afraid of, I don't know the line exactly because I'm just at that point sobbing like a child.
I'm afraid of
leaving
here
and never feeling the way I feel when I'm with you.
Yeah. She tells him, you're everything, when he talks about how he feels like he's nothing.
Yes.
But before they have that conversation, those were two separate conversations, they make love.
Well, first, before they dance.
Oh, yeah, they don't make love, they dance.
Which,
All right, children.
So of course, the climax for both of them, not the climax of the movie, the climax of their relationship, the tension
Whoop, whoop.
happens right then and there. But yeah, Johnny's butt though.
Mm-hmm. That butt though.
That butt though.
Mm-hmm. So after they do their thing, they're out sneaking out of there.
There's several other scenes. They kind of keep their relationship hidden.
Oh, that's right.
The movie goes on. They're kind of hiding their relationship. They're still sneaking around together. So there's the bungalow bunnies that are the women who come up Monday through Friday without their husbands to the resort. Husbands come up on the weekend. Well, this one bungalow bunny was basically using Johnny Castle for his castle.
Whoop, whoop.
And he cut it off. He didn't want to do that anymore because she was buying dance lessons that took place at 10 o'clock at night.
That's usually when I dance.
So when the bungalow bunny is leaving another Robbie the Creep's cabin, she sees Baby leaving in the morning. Which, by the way, how come Johnny has, the nice,
Yeah, he's got a huge
he's
spread.
got, his whole, loft to himself.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna be slumming in the eyes of your parents, you might as well go to the one with the biggest cabin. Ayo!
Heck yeah.
But nonetheless, what happens from there is Bungalow Bunny wants revenge, so she pins the missing wallets, the stolen wallets, on Johnny. And then there's this, it's super awkward. I know there's children listening, but they're getting educated. It's super awkward to admit to your parents that you are engaged in mature physical relationships. But, Mr. Kellerman is talking to the houseman, saying that he's got to go fire Johnny because of the stolen wallets. It was stolen last night. And Baby's like, I know he didn't do it. They're like, yes, he did. She's like, I know he didn't do it. And you could just feel it's the whole,
You know what she should have said in that situation? I carried the watermelon.
There was no watermelon. There was grapefruit on the table. So at that point, it's like, whoopsies. And then Mr. Houseman wanted to leave.
Doesn't he want, Johnny to leave?
Well, no, they were going to fire Johnny, and then she thought she saved his job, but unfortunately he still got fired.
Yeah.
But Mr. Houseman, or Dr. Houseman, wanted to leave early. He was so fed up, he wanted to leave early.
But this is when Lisa gets her
She's really, the catalyst to the big dance number at the end. If it wasn't for her...
Mm-hmm.
Because the talent show.
You know what? She was the one who wanted to stay, and she convinced Teddy to stay.
She more or less wore him down.
But Lisa, we were commenting the whole time, poor Lisa. Oh, honey.
Oh, honey.
It is very obvious that Mr. Houseman favors one of his daughters over the other.
I know.
Could they make it any more obvious?
Horrid. Which we will get to the dynamics that circle around fighting for Dr. Houseman's affection in our I hate it when they fight section. So tune in. Well, who really, really is pining after Dr. Houseman's love?
Since we're on the subject of Lisa.
She's a moron.
Yeah. Her one line. So another scene that E here noticed, and I didn't notice it first, and she was like, did you hear what he said? She said? So we rewinded it. But we heard her say to her dad when her dad and her are walking along with Robbie, who at this point...
Talking about political.
Yeah, at this point, Robbie, Mr. Houseman doesn't know he's a creep yet. And they're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
And they are having a political conversation.
Current affairs.
Lisa says, when Vietnam falls, is China next? Oh, honey. So, Lisa Houseman, if you ever run for political office...
You'll get elected.
This is on your record. Yeah, you'll get elected for sure.
Now, of course, though, like we said, Johnny still gets fired because classism.
Aww.
And they kind of just leave with this, I don't know. And he does that cool, thing with his hands.
Dude, Johnny is so cool.
He is
Several
so cool.
times throughout the movie, when they're going to go run off in the car and he forgot the car keys, he kicks this little post out of the ground and
and such a dancer, he was like, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
He made it look so easy.
He did.
And then that's when Baby's in the car and she yells at him, "You're wild!"
Oh, aren't you?
So Going back to
yeah.
what we were talking about, when they're leaving, he totally says something along the lines, which in modern days would translate to, so, I'll text you.
Well, and that's the thing. It's in the 60s, so it's not like... I mean, they exchange phone numbers? Are they going to write love letters to each other? It's not like you can find her on Facebook.
And then Baby has the really sad conversation with her dad where she says...
Oh, she lets him have it.
Mm-hmm.
You let me down too. And he doesn't say a word.
Oh, I love that. That is a great shot when they are looking at him and Baby, and when she walks away, he turns to say something to her, but he realizes she's gone. And then he just looks out to the lake. And that brings us to the talent show.
Yes, the culmination of it all, where they go to the talent show and Lisa sings her... That's my impression of it.
Wow, that was spot on.
Are you trying to tell me that I do a good impression, or I'm a bad singer?
We'll go with the first one.
All right. So, of course, Baby is sitting there and she doesn't look happy. The entertainment staff, Johnny is in charge, was supposed to be in charge of doing a final dance number. And during the Oh Sylvia, how do you call your lover boy scene that was improvised, Kellerman's grandson comes up and says, we want to talk to you about the closing number. And Johnny's all excited because he's like, oh, we have this like Cuban fusion salsa with a merengue feel, and he has this new dance thing that they wanted to do. And Kellerman was like, no, you're going to do the pachanga. And Johnny's upset because he feels stifled by they're set in their ways and he wants to do something new.
Or he just hates the pachanga.
I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
Unless we love it, then we love it too.
Yeah.
Hashtag pachanga for life.
Hashtag pachanga. Yeah.
So, that's supposed to be the closing number. And then all of a sudden, Johnny shows up.
And then he says the line, which Patrick Swayze did not want to say, should we add. Little fact about the movie, he was not a huge fan of this line, I guess.
I mean, let's be honest, they gave Patrick Swayze some cornball lines.
Yeah. Poor guy. He did have, throughout this movie, a couple bad lines. But...
Yeah, but that one just worked. It is cheesy. It's a cheesy movie. It's okay, though.
It's okay.
But, of course, the famous line is, nobody puts Baby in a corner. And he, takes Baby and he goes up on stage.
But...
It's not really a corner.
Yeah, is she in a corner, though? It's kind of more like...
A nook.
A nook.
I feel like that's when the set design people looked around, and then the script person was like, hey, Jerry, we got a problem. See, we're going to put her here at this table, and there is no corner. So they built, this stone, thing that came out of the wall, so she was more in a nook.
Before they go to that scene, Kellerman... Did you notice he, basically had an existential crisis? The things he was saying, it makes me actually almost wonder if this movie is actually a Groundhog Day theme, where...
What?
Kellerman...
No.
...is actually from the future, but he keeps living in a time back in the 1950s where everything's okay and the summers are fun.
Groundhog?
Because he says something about how it seems like it's all fleeting. It seems like it's all going away, which that kind of vacationing, that's not as done anymore. So he was kind of right. So methinks Kellerman is a time traveler. What? Some of them, he might have had some of them.
Were you drinking the wine during this movie?
That popcorn tasted real funny.
Oh.
But would you say he had some
having...
pine sol particles?
Not a pine salt particle. No, Kellerman is having an existential crisis because it's the 50s to the 60s. Things are changing. He is not a time traveler.
How do you explain them playing the Time of Your Life right after that when they do the big dance number then?
I don't know.
Time travel is possible. There you go. You heard here first, ladies and gents.
But of course, that leads them into Johnny saying that he's always done the dance and kind of professes his love for Baby, and then they do the iconic dance number, and it's the same dance number that they did at the Sheldrake, but now it's just she's having more fun, and she's in the pink dress and he's in the black, and he jumps off the stage, and so good.
And then Baby's mom, you pointed out to me that Baby's mom, who is what's the actress's name, played by Emily Gilmore,
let me look it up.
Kelly Bishop.
Yes, Kelly Bishop.
She previously was
She was in the original cast of A Chorus Line on Broadway. So she
Yeah.
has a line when Baby's dancing, and she goes, "She gets it from me." Which I don't know if it was intentional, but it's just kind of a fun little,
That's
like,
cute.
hey. But of course, Kay, you are the one who told me this is a Dirty Dancing fact I did not know about. That the lift.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I'm setting you up to tell the listeners the thing that you told me that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
The lift?
Oh, so the lift. Did you know,
No.
as you just pointed out that you didn't, that the lift was actually only done once and they never rehearsed it
Well,
outside the water?
I'm sure they...
No,
No?
she never went up. She never went up in the air. And of course, Patrick Swayze was very nervous about this, but the reason they didn't was Jennifer Grey was nervous about doing it, and she felt like she would lose her nerves if she failed and fell.
Mm-hmm.
So they just all agreed that they would just do it in one take, and boy, did they nail it, because it looked good
It
when they
looked
did
so
it
good.
too.
I feel like at that point, everybody on the crew went,
Right? And as soon as they said cut, everybody was probably like, yes!
Yes!
Thank the Lord!
So it wraps up with a happy dance number. At this point, Dr. Houseman knows that it's Robbie the creep that knocked Penny up, and he's disappointed in him, and he apologizes to Johnny. But the question is, do they live happily ever after?
You know what? It's an 80s movie, so nobody cares. They had the time of their lives.
I know, this is back when they were trying to pump out sequel after sequel, which they tried to, and they should have just left
yeah,
it
they
alone.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Havana Nights.
And then there was a horrible remake, I think, for TV.
Havana Nights.
It wasn't Havana. No, it wasn't Havana Nights. I think it's Savannah Nights. Is it Havana Nights? I don't know. Let us know in the comments
No, it's
below.
definitely Havana Nights. I would know.
So that kind of sums up at least our take in the Peanut Gallery on the movies. So now we're going to move into I Hate It When They Fight.
All right, before we get started with this week's fight, let's review the results of last week's fight, shall we?
Yes, shall we?
So the results are in.
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
I don't know if I want to.
Yes, you do. Tell everyone.
All right,
Tell
so
them.
for all of you who didn't listen to last week's podcast or haven't been on social media, we asked the question for Avengers Endgame, did Thanos' character get what he deserved in Endgame? So I said no, he didn't.
I said, yes, he did.
So we put a poll up on Twitter, and then we also had a few other people just throw us responses. So you can feel free to communicate with us in whatever way you want, because I know everybody doesn't have Twitter or Instagram.
And you all did it the right way because...
Because the results are in across all of our platforms, as well as a couple phone calls and text messages. The response was 100%
yes,
of the voters agreed with
Say
E.
it. Yes.
Are no winner.
Deweener. Hand it over.
And nobody agreed
Hand
with me.
it over.
Sad face. Okay,
Hand
so
it
you
over.
all betrayed me, but
Hand
E.
it over. The people have spoken.
So what we're gonna do is whoever wins is gonna win the I'm Always Right belt. So E,
Hashtag and still.
you are now
I am the inaugural.
the
I'm
inaugural
always right.
champion.
So this week's fight, we're going to unpack and debate where the real love story in Dirty Dancing lies. And the question is, who really is vying for the attention and the affection of Dr. Houseman? Is it Lisa or Johnny? Where is that true love story? So I say Lisa is truly the one fighting for the love here.
Okay.
Okay.
And then I, on the other side, I
Okay.
think Johnny is vying for it. And
Okay.
That's what this movie is about.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to give you 30 seconds on the clock.
All right.
And go.
Okay, first of all, it is her father, and we don't know how old she is, but she's probably in her early 20s. So for 20 years, she has been vying for this man's affection, and this do-good little baby who just walks up and I mean, she lied to her father to have an illegal procedure done, and it is Lisa who just desperately wants her her love and affection. It's Lisa who's like, I'll feel pretty when she's trying to tell him the song. I feel pretty, maybe I'll feel, and he just gets up and walks away from her.
Oh, you're getting some extra time, huh?
I am. All right,
Look
give me
at
the
you.
timer. Give me the timer. All right.
You want the power.
Are you marked? Get set.
Wait,
timer
Okay,
started.
so I think the true love relationship in this movie is actually all about Mr. Houseman and Johnny Castle, because he looks at Johnny, he looks down on Johnny, but Johnny really wants him to love him. He really wants that father figure in Mr. Houseman. He wants him to accept him. So he does things like he vouches for Penny because he thinks it's the right thing to do. He looks at Baby and he points out to Mr. Houseman, I want to do what's best for her, and I don't care what you have to say. This is what she wants. She's going to get what she wants.
Really? Let me poke holes in that argument.
So, now we go into the
2-minute fight.
fight section. So,
All
here we go and start.
Everything you said was Johnny self-induced, self-driven. He vouched for Penny because he knew it was the right thing to do, not because he was trying to impress Dr. Houseman. That's his friend and his dance partner, his companion. He truly, deeply cares for her. For her.
Lisa is not really necessarily looking for a love relationship. She just
She
wants
wants
to be
the love
better
of her
than
father.
Baby.
No, she wants the love of her father. It is clear. You even said it yourself. Go back and listen, people. He said it. Kay said, Baby is clearly the favorite child.
Is she the favorite?
She is, until she stops it with Johnny, but that's nonetheless. But then, like, that pleading of Lisa was like, oh, but I'm gonna sing. And he's like, he sighs. He's like, oh, what are you gonna sing? And he gets up in mid-conversation when Lisa's so proud about her gonna sing. He gets up and walks away from the girl, and
But
she chases after
With
him.
every love story, at the end, there's usually some resolve that has, oh, look, they're going to live happily ever after, or at least, oh, they're parting ways, but there will always be that relationship, that one summer
Okay,
that got
we don't
away.
even know if Johnny and
But
Baby stay together, so his relationship with Dr. Houseman could be over. Lisa's entire
It
life,
doesn't matter.
Lisa's entire life is vying for this
It
man's
doesn't matter
affection,
because
and we
the end of
don't
the
know
movie-
if he gets it.
At the end of the movie, Johnny gets that scene with Mr. Houseman where Mr. Houseman basically says to him, like, yeah, we
It's
good.
not a conversation of who gets the love, it's who has the more true love story. And what makes a good love story is heartache and longing and passion and trials and tribulations, and that's Lisa's entire life.
But Lisa doesn't get anything at the end of the movie. By the end of
We
the
never
movie,
said how to be a happy ending.
Johnny is the one that had some sort of resolve with Mr. Houseman.
Doesn't
and
mean it was a
made
happy
your heart
ending.
Swell.
Yeah, and then your heart broke for Lisa because she never got her father's approval or love. We're not saying who won, we're saying who had the better love story, who was vying for his attention more, and it goes back to Lisa.
Johnny can
It is-
dance, Lisa can't sing.
It's her daughter.
All right.
All right, so you have a 10-second rebuttal, and I have a 5-second rebuttal. So give me
All right.
this. Your 10 seconds starts now. Rebuttal.
All right, Lisa has nothing of a relationship with her dad besides I want to be your favorite daughter, and then there's nothing complete at the end of the movie. Hang on a second. My 10 seconds was started. You said, all right, 10 seconds starts now, and I was already 3 seconds into my 10 seconds. Oh, well.
I'll give you 3
take
seconds,
it.
right?
No, I didn't need it.
All right,
I
fine.
didn't need it.
5 seconds. It is his daughter, and it's her entire life is trying to get this man's love and affection. Entire life. You let it go over.
You said entire life twice over 5
I'm
seconds.
just stressing my opinion. So, universe, let us know who is the real love story. Who wants it more?
So you can chime in by checking out our Facebook or Instagram at What Should We Watch Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. Or you can go to our Twitter account at WSW Watch Podcast and cast your vote. We'll hopefully post that on the day of, and we'll have it open for a couple days, and you can also feel free to email us, send us a comment on our podcast websites on Podbean or iTunes, and we will see who is right for this week.
I am, because Lisa wants it more.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So since it was my pick this week, I sat down, dug deep into Dirty Dancing lore and history and filmography, and came up with several questions for Kay for this week's edition of Were You Paying Attention?
All
All right, you ready?
Yep, let's hear it.
Okay.
I'm ready. I've been studying.
You have not. First question. What song was playing in the opening scene? Not the opening credits.
The opening scene.
The opening scene, not the opening credits. Do you know what the opening scene was?
Yeah, when they were driving in the car.
What song is playing?
Is it Hey Baby? What song is it? Because the opening credits is Be My Little Baby.
Oh, too bad that's not what I'm asking you.
I don't know.
I feel like, we talked about it's a song from the time period.
Okay.
And it really sets up the naive essence that is Baby.
Big Girls Don't Cry.
Yes!
That's the song?
Yeah, Big Girls Don't Cry
By the Four Seasons.
Yes. Woo! Come. All right, in her opening narrative, staying in the same scene, in her opening narrative, what can't Baby wait to do?
Join the Peace Corps.
Join the Peace Corps. Nice!
Boom!
All right, this is a two-parter. First, what is Baby's real name?
Okay.
And who is she named after?
Well, her name is Shania, after Shania Twain.
No.
No, her first name is Frances.
Okay, named
Baby
after
Houseman,
who?
Named after the first woman in the cabinet.
Yes. Do you know the full name of the first woman in the cabinet?
Frances S. Christ.
No. Frances C. Perkins, the first woman in the cabinet.
Oh!
What was Johnny surviving on before he started working at Kellerman's?
Ramen noodles.
No, not ramen noodles.
Surviving on?
Yes.
What job he had?
No, he said what was he surviving on as a food item?
Oh. I'm gonna guess little burgers.
No, he's nothing to do with White Castle. Nothing to do with the food.
Little sliders.
No, not sliders.
Oh,
What was he surviving on? It's such a weird word.
A weird word.
Yes.
Talapas?
No. I don't know, it just sticks out like a sore thumb when he says it.
Spam?
No. 3 syllables.
Spaghetti.
No. You were making the motion to clap before you said spaghetti out loud because you're testing to see if it actually had the syllables. Oh, Lord. I think it's, again, specific to the time period.
Oh. Cigarettes.
Yeah, no.
No.
So filling.
Woo!
You give up? One more guess.
I'll do one more guess. I'm gonna say his mom's famous ham loaf.
Stop. Jujubes.
Jujubes. Oh.
Okay. All right, you ready?
I should have known that. I wouldn't have.
What is the full name of Kellerman's? Kellerman's Country Lodge and Resort or Kellerman's Mountain House?
Can I make up my own answer?
No, it's one of those two.
Okay. I'm gonna go with A. The resort.
False.
Oh.
Kellerman's Mountain House.
In the Alleghenies.
Yes. What book does Robbie the Creep give to Baby and say he wanted back because he had notes in the margins?
Catcher in the Rye?
Nope. So quick to be so wrong.
Great Gatsby?
Nope.
The Bible?
Nope.
Precious?
Nope. You're striking out.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban?
Yeah, no!
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes,
okay.
no.
Yes. Oh, man, I'm striking out. I'm going to have to phone a friend.
You don't have any friends to phone.
Oh, that's right.
Give up. One more guess.
What's a book that is of that era? 1950s. 1950.
You were singing a White Zombie song. That's not the question. Take another one more stab.
Is that a clue?
No.
Oh. Can I have another clue?
I don't know. No.
No. Grapes of Wrath.
No, The Fountainhead.
Yeah. Would not have gotten that.
All right. Last question, but then I have a bonus question for you.
Okay.
What
Doing
song?
great.
What song is playing when Baby and Johnny do the horizontal tango? That's alluding to them doing the dirty deed, which is coitus. What song is playing when they have coitus?
Coiting. It's not Hungry Eyes because they played that earlier.
No.
It's not one of the 80s songs, I don't think. Or is it? No. Is it a Righteous Brothers song? Thinking wrong. Patrick Swayze love scene. Oh, man. I should know these. These are like within my wheelhouse. The love scene. Love and touch and squeezing.
No. Do you want me to play 5 seconds of the song?
Yeah. No, you don't even have to play me 5. Play me 1. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Oh. Listeners, if you yell really hard,
we can hear
I might be able to hear you in the past.
And 5,
And across
4,
the internet. Listeners, come on.
3,
please.
2,
I need you.
1. Cry to Me by Solomon Burke.
Oh, Solomon
All right,
Burke.
here's your bonus question, just because you kept saying the wrong decades.
Yeah, please.
What year did they say the movie takes place?
Oh, it's the summer of... Oh, man. I'm trying to think of the political situations that they mention. Because it was before Kennedy got shot. What year was that? Is it 52?
No.
What year was that? 51?
No?
53.
No.
I thought it was the early 50s. 1958?
Nope.
1955?
No.
1954? 1950?
Go higher. So that's why I think you were screwing up with the music. You're in the wrong decade.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is it not in the 1950s? I've been saying that this whole podcast.
I'm shaking my head no and nodding my head yes because you at home can see that, but...
For all of you listening, I don't know if you heard my jaw hit the floor. But... Oops. So it's 1962.
No.
Oh,
Close. That was your closest one.
1963.
Yeah. I don't even think you got any of those. Maybe
I
like
got 2 right.
2 right.
I
2
was
right.
counting them. We got 2 right. Might not have been the first time through, but hey, I'm proud of myself. I did great.
Well, I feel like this is going to come and bite me in the butt when it's your turn to come up with a question. So
Oh, yeah.
tune in next week to see how well I do.
You're gonna feel hurt.
So let's go ahead and put a pin in Dirty Dancing. That will never stay pinned because I'll watch it for the 12,794,000,000th time.
I think you've progressively been getting higher numbers when you say it, so
Yeah.
good continuity.
Thank you. No plot holes here. But go ahead. Kay, how would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give it a solid pachanga because, you know, like
Pachanga.
Johnny Castle feels about the pachanga, I acknowledge it as a thing. In this case, I acknowledge it as a movie that people like. And at one point, I enjoyed it, but now I've done it so much that I'd kind of like to go on to something a little more exciting. So I guess I like it, but you know what? It is the pachanga, so me.
And my rating for this movie is 80s music in the 60s. Slightly confusing, but perfectly satisfying in every which way.
So before we wrap up this episode, we just want to say, if you haven't seen Dirty Dancing, you should probably go see it.
Definitely.
It's a great time. Should I say it? You'll have the time of your life.
I was just holding my breath. It wasn't about the watermelon again.
Oh, I should have said that.
No, you shouldn't have. So as we've, wrapped up this, we're going to do something a little bit different. So it was my pick. It's now Kay's pick this time around. And last time we had discussed, we kind of plotted out what movie we wanted to watch. So he told me that he wanted to do Endgame. I told him, okay, well, you want to do Endgame. I want to do Dirty Dancing. Well, this week, he has not told me what pick. So this is going to be the honest reaction of what movie. So, Kay, tell myself and our fabulous listeners, what should we watch next week?
All right. So I wanted to play off the whole 80s vibe and another movie that has music played that isn't of that era. But this time, it actually confuses people. So I picked one of my favorite movies of all time.
Uh-oh.
Back to the Future.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with that one. I was a little nervous.
Yeah, I'm really excited here.
So Back to the Future?
Back to the Future.
All right. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in another week. We look forward to visiting you all real soon with our take on Back to the Future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all of your streaming services. Give us a nice 5-star review. Tell your friends. Go ahead and tell people that aren't even your friends. Just tell random people on the street about us.
They'll want to know.
Surely.
So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at /WhatShouldWeWatch podcast or at Twitter at WSWWatch podcast. And make sure to follow all of our questions and quizzes, and we'll see you next time.
We don't see them. This is a podcast.
All right, we'll feel your presence next time.
Yeah, that we'll go with that.
Love you all.
Bye. Bye.
Should I put on pants next time?